The world is adorned with breathtaking works of architecture. From the Louvre to the Taj Mahal, there are endless sights to take in, and certainly not enough time to see them all. But what happens when a place becomes abandoned? These abandoned places can appear hauntingly beautiful or simply creepy. It's up to you to decide. Rakottsbrück Devil's Bridge can be found in Gablens, Germany. This beautiful bridge can be traced back to the 19th century. With the right lighting and weather, the bridge and its reflection seem to form a perfect circle, making it a popular spot for artists, photographers, and couples in search of romantic viewpoints. Positioned on Castle Island, a small island in Lough Key, Ireland, McDermott's Castle was built in 1184 by the MacDiarmid dynasty. The impressive fortress was unfortunately destroyed by a fire that started by lightning hitting the castle. The castle was then rebuilt in 1235 and was put up for auction in 2018 for around $100,000. A magnitude 9 tsunami hit the Fukushima area in March 2011. As a result, the local nuclear power plant experienced nuclear meltdowns and a release of radioactive material, meaning very dangerous conditions and immediate evacuation. Over 300,000 people were evacuated, and it is estimated that the damage control will take nearly 40 years to complete. This jet, that can be seen parked in a Russian backyard, has caused quite a stir. The model type is said to be very dangerous, even called a death trap by some. Deemed unsafe due to a rush in the design process, manufacturing was cancelled in 1982, leaving the existing jets completely abandoned. This statue can be found in the Mediterranean Sea off of San Frutuoso, Italy, and was actually meant to be placed underwater. The statue is made of bronze and was created by artist Guido Galletti. In 2003, it was taken to be restored as the bronze began corroding and many sea creatures began to nestle onto it. This abandoned little cottage is hidden in a gorgeous yellow forest clearing near Stradbally, Ireland. It's estimated that it was constructed in the 1800 due to its cast iron windows and tiled roof. It seems odd that this cottage is abandoned. After all, it seems like the perfect spot for a getaway from life. If you want to head to one of the more creepy abandoned sites, then Kajunama Leisureland is the place for you. A once popular theme park, it opened in 1979. However, by 2000 it was shut down due to a significant drop in visitors. The rides were left abandoned, a perfect backdrop for a horror film. Mount Sinabung, found in Koro, Indonesia, has erupted several times in recent years. But in 2016, an especially devastating eruption claimed the lives on 7 people. The area had to be evacuated, leaving homes and other buildings abandoned completely. Most recently, there was another eruption in April 2018, but luckily no one was harmed. Obersee Lake is tucked away between the mountains of Berchtesgaden National Park in Germany. If you look carefully, you'll find an abandoned fishing hut right in the lake itself. The mysterious hut doesn't have any signs of life or even any insight on when it was built. Not many people feel the need to match the exterior of their homes to the surrounding landscape. However, this yellow house located in Nova Scotia perfectly matches the dandelions scattered all around it. This abandoned home located in Nebraska was captured in this perfectly timed photo in 2015. These old Harley-Davidsons were once ridden by the National Police Ad Puente Piedra of Lima, Peru. Due to lack of budget, the bikes were retired and left abandoned in a parking site. As they collected dust, they decreased in value. If refurbished, their value could go from around $1,000 up to $12,000. Worth a shot, no? What looks like it could have been a stunning vacation spot now lies abandoned in ruins. The formerly beautiful hotel is perched atop a cliff that overlooks the Bogota River. When the river was contaminated with industrial waste, the whole area fell into disarray, forcing the hotel to shut its doors. In the 1880, a network of 7 tunnels, named the Helensburgh Tunnels, were built in order to connect different areas in Australia. These tunnels cut right through the hilly landscape rather than travel all the way around. However, less than 30 years after being built, they were abandoned in favor of a 2-way rail system. The old ones can still be visited today. This little yellow Victorian house sits wedged between two modern buildings that seem to tower over it. Found in San Francisco, the house is decorated in the classic styles that are characteristic of the Victorian style. Around the Isle of Roten, Hatteras, you can find many sunken ships scattered around. The ship pictured below is the Dixon Cove shipwreck. It was destroyed in a storm in the 1970s and drifted off into the channel. Many believe that it could have carried valuable goods, as the area as a whole was rife with pirates and sunken treasure. Known as the Bulgarian Rockefeller, Pancho Simov was known for his great wealth. He owned many properties and wished that his home would become a retirement home after his passing. However, after he died in 1945, this did not happen, and his home was instead used as a ward for those infected with tuberculosis. Holland Island, found in the Chesapeake Bay, was once a bustling coastal town and community. Victorian homes, churches, a school, and shops adorn the town. Deep in the waters of the Red Sea, many wrecked ships can be found. This particular ship is called the Russian wreck and is believed to be the remains of a fishing trawler originally named Chenka. It was found in the Red Sea in 1988. It is believed that it may have been used as a spy ship since electrical equipment was found on the ship upon its discovery. Found in the Great Lakes, this former British warship was known as the HMS Ontario. It is said that it sank in 1780 and took 130 men along with it, all of which who perished as the ship went down. It was found in 2008, nearly 200 years later, and was amazingly almost completely intact. Bannerman Castle was built by Francis Bannerman, a Scottish immigrant who successfully sold army surplus goods in order to make quite the mint. The castle has been through rough times, including a ferryboat crash, gunpowder explosion, as well as a fire that burned for 3 days long. Conservationists have been keeping the castle in decent condition since the 1990. In 1986, Ukrainian city Pripyat was the worst affected city by the Chernobyl nuclear disaster. The massive amount of radiation that was released forced the city's residents to abandon it, leaving it to become one of the most famous abandoned cities in the world. Its most famous feature is its decaying theme park, as well as schools and clocks that are all frozen in time. The once bustling resort town of Varosha was then a popular tourist attraction and attracted the likes of Brigitte Bardot up until the 1974 Turkish invasion of Cyprus. While the city of Famagusta is experiencing a sudden boom in tourism, Varosha remains abandoned as it was when it was evacuated in 1874. With clothing still hanging in stores and model cars and garages. The buildings found in the Valley of the Mills in Sorrento, Italy were built in the 13th century out of stone, but were abandoned many years later, in the 1940s. Due to the building's location in a deep crevasse formed by a prehistoric earthquake, it quickly was overgrown with vegetation, giving it quite the abandoned look. These futuristic-looking dome homes in Marco Island, Florida, were built by a retired oil tycoon who wanted these to be an eco-friendly vacation home option. However, difficult weather led to eroding shorelines, which meant the homes became unlivable. There were no plans to try to repurpose the domes, but they do look a little like Florida's version of Stonehenge. Colemanskop was once home to diamond mining and was quite the extravagant spot in 1908 Namibia. However, as diamond mining moved south, the town was completely abandoned and left behind. Its once bustling homes are now filled with sands and have appeared in films such as 1993 Dust Devil and 2000 The King is Alive. Once known for being the biggest coal-burning power plant in Belgium, the power plant IJM was built in 1921. It was able to cool down 480,000 gallons of water, but at a great cost. It resulted in 10% of carbon dioxide emissions in the whole country. After many Greenpeace protests, it was finally shut down in 2007. The Aniva Island was once a part of a lengthy custody battle between Russia and Japan that lasted about a century. After World War II, the Soviets gained control over the island and later added radioactivity to its stately lighthouse. The Lake Russian Bell Tower is the only remaining visible vestige of several villages that were built in South Tyrol, Italy. A dam was built in 1940 by Montecatini, an Italian electric company, in order to unify the two lakes there. Kennecott, Alaska was known for having about $200 million worth of copper processed there. However, the place has been abandoned for over 60 years, and most of its buildings have deteriorated completely, but still remain an interesting sight to see. The National Park Service purchased many of the buildings in 1998. Deception Island was known for its whaling research station, which is now completely abandoned. The station was abandoned several times during 1931 and 1969, as it was affected by volcanic eruptions. The rusted boilers and beach boats remain there decaying until now.